All right, powerful people. This is the SpareNoEffort podcast. I'm here with my brothers, Mr. Unbothered himself, David Jackson.
Yo, what's good?
And my other brother, Mr. Too Funny, Justin Murray. How y'all doing, fellas?
I'm pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah, I'm sitting next to not only Mr. Unbothered himself, but the birthday boy himself.
Yeah.
So happy birthday to you. I ain't gonna say what your age is.
Happy birthday to it. You know, I'm still young.
Oh my God.
31 years
39.
young. 39 now. No, I'm not 39 yet.
39, you will be 40 next year, right?
Nah. I mean, it may come that fast. It
Seems like
it.
Yeah. But, you know, 31 feels good. I look good, you know.
Feel good? Yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed your birthday last night.
I did, you know. My voice sounded a little raspy.
That's because you're a wild boy.
You know, I had a good time.
Yeah, you a wild boy.
I had a good time.
You a wild boy. Nah, but seriously, but yeah, other than that, y'all have a good week.
Yeah. I had a good week.
Busy.
Kind of rushed a week away, you know, waiting on my birthday.
On your birthday, of course. Your birthday, because it's like also my birthday, probably yours too, Justin. Like when your birthday is at the beginning of the year or the beginning of the month, it always sneaks up on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Always when your birthday came up earlier this week, I was like, man, it is his birthday on Friday.
And I hardly ever get a Friday.
So yeah.
I hardly ever get a Friday.
So happy birthday to you, man.
Blessings.
Yes.
Yeah, real quick, man. Many more.
Yeah, hope I have many more.
Y'all know we ain't did in a while. We ain't gave each other birthday lists. When the last time, y'all remember that?
I do.
Everybody used to
Yeah, we used to beat up on the person's birthday.
Yeah.
I think it really kind of went away once you get to high school. You know,
We still beat people up in high school.
Well, I don't ever get nobody in high school.
Man,
We beat up a lot of people.
I can't remember.
I
didn't get any birthday licks in high school. Let me say that.
But you probably was gone somewhere on your birthday.
Probably was. Like, I avoided the licks.
One nigga got stabbed.
That
birthday.
Man, happy birthday, Shane.
He stabbed him in the legs. I wasn't there too.
Well, hopefully he ain't stick him as many years.
Yeah.
That's his age. But,
Yeah, he probably, I don't think he did that. That would have been.
Yeah. It wouldn't have been such a good birthday.
How old are you? 52? Stab.
Now, real quick, man, I ain't gonna hold y'all up. I just want to talk to y'all about something real quick, and this is something. Once again, I was actually talking to our good friend, big brother, Crisis the other night. You know, every time we talk, it's typically I come just
he big brother now.
Yeah, you know, big homie. Big homie. Big homie. But every time we talk and engage and like build off of each other's conversation, I typically always come with a motivational topic from that conversation. So,
okay.
Yeah, so real quick, I just want to
Shout out to Crisis, my guy.
No doubt.
Great guy. I just want to ask a question, just to everybody that's listening. What are you practicing on a regular basis? Right. So we was just talking, and you know how typically, I think it's a well-known fact that in times of stress, you always go back to what you know.
Yeah.
Right. You always go back to what you naturally know.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of when you get that interview and you're very professional, somebody catch you off guard at work and they piss you off, you're going back to what you know.
That's true.
And this is true in all areas of life. Basketball. You think about Klay Thompson, right? He's a shooter.
Right.
He ain't really, even though the other night he did a little crossover and he's back now, so I always say he's healthy, and he came through and dunked it. That's typically not his game. You know what I mean? So typically when the finals or the playoffs hit, he's more than likely not going to try anything new that he's just been working on lately. He's going to go back to what he knows. You think about boxing when Deontay Wilder tried to fight Tyson Fury a different way. Once you get tired and stressed, you always go back to what you know. You know what I mean? So it's important that we constantly practice, and not just for like an hour, but practice good habits more times than not, majority of our time. So when we get stressed, you know, we typically turn to alcohol or weed or just shutting down. We just turn to unhealthy habits, you know, rather than things that could potentially help us in the future. You know what I mean? So just in short, like I said, I'm not gonna hang on this too long. Think about, what are you practicing daily? What are you spending the majority of your time doing? When you get stressed or upset, are you going to be scrolling social media? Are you going to be, you know, getting high out your mind, getting drunk to where you can't stand up straight? Are you going to be just zoning out on a video game or whatever the case may be? Think about what habits you're practicing on a regular basis. Not just for an hour when you're prepping for an interview. You know what I mean? Not just when you're asking somebody for something. You know, don't be in whatever type of relationship you're in. Don't try to be, you know, faithful when you want something. You know what I mean? Or like it's, you know, I don't know.
When it's convenient.
When it's convenient. You know, practice those habits all the time. Practice those good habits all the time. So just think about what you're practicing on a regular basis, not just for short term. You know what I mean? Think about what you're practicing regularly, and that's what you're going to lean back to in times of stress. So that's all I have to say about that, fellas.
Oh, okay.
Good and simple. Not gonna hold y'all up. You know. I was watching the what was it called? It's the Emmett story. But what is it called? Like Women of Power, I believe. I'm gonna have to look it up. Women of the Movement, excuse me. And it really, and I was telling y'all this offline, it really bothered me, man. It just really bothered me. But in particularly his great uncle. That really bothered me.
Yeah, and that's why I haven't watched it yet. You know, it's one of the movies, you know, I gotta really get a move forward. And I didn't know what to expect. I don't even remember even the trailer, and I haven't watched the trailer. Of course.
It snuck up on me. I didn't even see the trailer. I seen people talking about it, and then I looked up the trailer.
Okay, and it could have been the same with me too. You know, that's probably why I don't remember the trailer. So and when you was explaining to him, I didn't know that all that went on, of course, because I didn't get details in the material even growing up. You know, I heard the story as a whole, of course, but it's one of them movies. Oh no, it's a show, correct?
That's a show.
So it's one of those projects.
It's a limited time scripted TV series.
Okay.
On ABC. It was just messed up because from what they shown, you know, Emmett Till was from Chicago, living in Chicago, and his great uncle came up and visited, and pretty much was asking him to come down. He was like, "Well, I'm gonna put you to work," you know.
So he's not from Mississippi.
No, he grew up in Chicago.
Okay, he was just, you know, visiting, and that's something I didn't know either.
Yeah, and his mother didn't want him to go, and he just kept asking. You know, he's going out. There's gonna be other kids, his cousins and stuff. You know what I mean?
And I bet it hurt worse in those situations where you didn't want someone to do something for whatever reason, and then something bad like this happened.
But you know what? It probably hurts more when you do want them, and something like that happens too.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, so I think what my mind immediately went to is the Fruitvale Station. When his mother told him, like, y'all gonna be drinking Texas train.
Yeah, so I bet both of them hurt.
Yeah, I mean, both of them hurt.
You know.
Yeah, I definitely think the first option.
Not wanting them to go.
Yeah.
You know,
because you know what they're gonna say. They're gonna use that as guilt, and you know, use that to fire their depression, and whatever the case is.
Right.
What they gonna say?
But then,
I told them that he shouldn't go, and they gonna live on that. You know what I'm saying?
But then when you flip it and you tell them to go,
that gotta hurt.
Yeah, because you know, I'm sure all the guilt falls on you. You know, within yourself, of course. They could have done whatever.
It's a different.
Yeah, they could have done whatever they done to get into whatever trouble, you know, they got into. Well, it could not be trouble, it could just be accident, you know, in the wrong place at the wrong time, but I bet that hurts.
Yeah, it was fine. And his great uncle is the one that, you know, had him come down there pretty much. And when it happened in the situation, you know, it's all type of speculation, but nothing of what he did warranted him to get pretty much kidnapped and beaten and murdered.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a
regardless
spoiler
of what
alert, you know, for those.
For those who don't know the story, but we all pretty much know the story of
Yeah,
Emmett Till.
man, that was one of the first stories I knew about as a kid. Like the Emmett Till story.
And see, I didn't know about it until I was about a teenager. Until Kanye West actually was like, you know, on the plane, scared this that you know.
Yeah.
That's when I first looked it up, I think.
Yeah, I got it in.
I knew about it. Like,
I don't know if it was my mom or.
I don't remember them teaching me that in elementary.
Yeah, because I was gonna say school at first, but then again, I don't know about.
I do.
I remember my mom talking about Emmett Till.
So yeah, we didn't learn. They didn't teach us about that.
You know, I'm like a couple grades. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For us, it was all good. Martin Luther King. And
and
they didn't even really talk about
Jesse
Malcolm X that much.
Jackson. No. My mom. I remember my mom teaching me about Malcolm.
Yeah, but more so MLK.
Yeah. We got a lot of
Rosa Parks.
Thurgood Marshall. I remember writing.
Frederick Douglass.
Yeah, Frederick Douglass got a lot of him.
So y'all didn't watch like Rosewood or none of that?
Oh no.
Really?
Yeah, no. They didn't show us Rosewood.
That's crazy. I seen all that.
In school?
Yeah, school. All that.
No, I mean, and it might have stopped like right before us, because my cousins and them. No, they didn't. They said my auntie made them watch Roots. Now that I think about it, and they said they went to school the next day and was ready. And like as soon as they seen like a white kid just hit them, like whoa. But they feel it like
yeah.
No, but it's crazy. And the great uncle is the one that got him. And when they came to get Emmett Till, the guys wasn't police officers. They were just two white guys. One of them had a gun. But from what they showed on the show is the grandfather had a shotgun. You know what I mean? And he's like, we looking for that Chicago kid. And he's like, oh, okay. And he just let him come in and, you know, they trying to find him and stuff. And they get him and he's like, oh, can you just take him out back and beat him? You don't have to take him away. He don't really know no better and all of that. He just let him take him.
Yeah, that's.
He just let him take him.
It's sad, you know.
It is.
And I get it, it's a different time, but it's like, really? You know what I mean? Like, if you ask him to come down there, and he's under your care.
Yes.
And in that situation, you're supposed to, whatever the consequences is after that, you're supposed to.
Baby, take the kids out the back, run, and apparently it was word flying around town about that kid, because he heard about it. So the great uncle claimed that he had heard a little bit about it. At that point, you're supposed to shift him back, put him back on the train and go back to Chicago.
Yeah. First thing, smoking.
Yeah.
But you know, that was a time, man, when fear.
Yeah, and that's why
I mean, and it still do.
I'm glad I didn't grow up in those times.
But you got to be willing to die for your kids, though.
Yeah. But if you never thought that, fear is like one of the most powerful things. They teach us this.
Very much so.
To control us.
And I can agree to that. I can agree to that.
He cared about himself though more than the family. And you asked him, because you're supposed to be their guardian.
So that's where you kind of it's almost not fear at that point. It can be fear, but it's more self-centered.
It's fear. It's selfish too.
Yeah, it's very selfish.
It's selfish.
I can't say it would have been easy.
It probably wouldn't have been easy. You know, and you probably would have lost your life, honestly. Yeah. But that sounds selfish in a sense. But for your family,
did he have kids? Like, what's going on?
Like, summer, your child, you brought him, like you said, you brought him down here. You know what I'm saying? His mother didn't want him down here. You probably persuaded her. Like I never seen her.
She was.
Her, so
he was persuading her, and then
he was supposed to take that. He was supposed to.
I mean, if y'all did, you got DJ friends over there.
Yeah,
or something, it's
well,
like
my nephew could.
It's like no, he's here with me. I'm protecting him.
Yeah.
You also gotta look at it like, okay, I don't know the exact situation because I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? If he get killed, they probably could have killed all three of them.
Man, now
anyway.
you tell them,
you know what I mean?
You tell them like, nah, you ain't getting in my house.
Yeah, I mean, you could have fought. Yeah,
it ain't easy. It ain't easy. Or baby, because his wife was there. Hey, baby.
He heard me.
No, for real, they was
I would expect you to do the voice though.
No, because hey, baby, they coming here looking for Emmett. Take the kids out the back. You know what I mean? For real.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we sent him back on the train or something like that.
Yeah.
I know it ain't easy, and I want to ride at times, but the mama had more heart. Like his wife had more heart, and Emmett Till mama had more heart. It did. So when they discovered Emmett Till's body, they was trying to go ahead and bury him up there in Mississippi, so nobody would like see him and stuff. And the mama was like, his mom was like, no, like I want my baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want him down here. And see, the mama was, I don't know if this is exactly how it went, but she was, when they told her that they found him in a river, she was immediately on war mode. She was like, okay. She was like, where did they find him? Where is he at now? Like, she was ready to go to war. You know what I mean? Not like with guns, but just like, the media about to hear about this, they about to find out what he did. She was like, I'll grieve later. You know what I mean?
Facts.
And they was trying to bury him, and the great uncle was like right there letting him. And it took his, I think they were his grandsons that came or whatever, and they was like, you know, pretty much I didn't want to believe this or whatever. And he was like, what? He was like, the state ordered us to bury him right here. They was like, man, you know, his mama wanted him to, you know, to get shook down there. Look, that's what they ordered. You know, I already got a target on my back and all of that. They pretty much told him, like, he was like, everything I got is here. They was like, no, not everything. We finna take grandma and we finna be gone.
Yeah.
So eventually, you know, he did, but it was a mess up. And I can't, you know, and I know it would have been a tough situation, but forget that. Like, I just think he went out like, but you know, it is what it is. But that was and I ain't watched all of it, and it ain't even all aired yet, but it's tough. It's a tough watch, man. It definitely is.
Yeah, it's a deep story, man. Like, yeah, it's a deep story for sure.
Yeah, man. And that's one, like I said, one of them projects where, you know, I just gotta be in the right mindset.
Yeah, you gotta be in the right mindset, the right mood.
Yeah, so
I can't remember what I watched. It had to be, it was the Black Messiah, right?
Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yeah.
That was tough too.
That was a deep one because he got set up. So, but that happens a lot to people back then.
And that when he was kind of like the same. That was like the same thing. He protected himself and gave up one of his own.
Yeah, and then Detroit.
So it made you think about that.
Detroit.
Yeah, the Detroit movie.
Yeah.
Like, how much do y'all think that really happened? You know,
what do you mean?
These situations right here. You know, back in times.
Like how often did they beat a kid and
yeah, or just got away with it, or even they family, sacrificed, they whatever they name, and gave up their own. Just by being scared, or
a lot.
Don't have the lack of resources, or whatever the situation may be.
We see. Listen, it had to happen a lot because we see how we act now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't, we killing each other and all this shit,
snitching.
For your own brother. Yeah, so
And some dudes done set up. Some dudes done set up other dudes to get robbed or to. And that's why I tell y'all, certain people like envy, and this is a different situation, but envy is so strong.
Oh yeah, the hate is real.
The hate and the envy, or you just really.
And then when you say that, when you use envy, it took me years before I actually looked up the definition, and it was somebody else was talking about it, and they just gave me a different perspective on it, and it's like it's. I ain't gonna say it's natural, but in some situations, it's okay to envy or, on the lack of terms, to bring down the word hate. Because when you see someone with something and you don't have it,
that can be good envy.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I'm going with it. But it's kind of like your actions after that.
But so this is the thing. The issue is when envy turns into hate. Right. So I can envy LeBron James, but that's something I can't control. A lot of times, in my opinion, envy turns to hate when people see you doing something that they can do. And they either don't have the courage, or they're too lazy, or they're afraid, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Like I envy LeBron. Like I would love to be 6'8", 6'9" with his athletic ability. You know what I mean? Steph Curry. I would love to be a great shooter like that, which I possibly could do that. You know what I mean? But I think envy is when someone. That's why a lot of dudes like really dislike rappers. Like why rappers really truly get robbed and unfortunately sometimes killed in their own town because of that envy.
It turned into hate
because you did something that I either couldn't do or think I couldn't do. It's like, who are you? You know what I mean? That man, envy that's turned into hate is really strong. A lot of people these days are so afraid of being themselves too.
Yeah.
A lot of people, once again, and I talked about this before, we're walking around wearing a mask and don't want to live our truth. So when people walk around and see you walking around living your truth, they envy that. So what'll happen when some other dudes don't like you just because? They liable to set you up to get robbed or hurt. That's why you gotta watch who you have around you, man. A lot of people that got killed, they saying, I think young Dolph, the dude that killed him, was kind of in his circle. They said it's a picture right there. You gotta watch people, man.
That was one of the first things I learned, though.
Look at Rich Porter and Alpo. Now that's a little different because Alpo was like a psychopath on the low. May he rest in peace, but he was a psychopath. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Paid it forward.
Yeah.
So he was kind of like a psychopath. But like, look at that, man. Envy is strong. Truthfully, look how many people, I don't know, hate 50 Cent. You know what I mean? 50 Cent got it out the mud. He got it out the mud. And a lot of people dislike him because of how successful he is, honestly. And they can't do what he was crazy enough to believe his dream would work.
Yeah. That's it.
You know what I mean? But you ain't even gotta be as tall as a 50 Cent. Like, look at how many local dudes, and not even to bring this up again, but your lady's brother got murdered. You know what I mean? Just from hate.
Yeah.
Envy that's turned into hate.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's for real. So going back to the original question, it probably did happen a lot. And that goes back to slavery. Yeah,
I'm sure.
You know what I mean? That goes back to slavery.
They had the house nigga, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
Thought he was,
Samuel Jackson character in Django.
Right.
Or it's like, no, you can't leave. They gonna beat us all.
That's oh my God.
And they look at that as the other person being
like that's probably.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, come on, man.
You putting us in jeopardy, so you being selfish because you want to
even
be
if you make it, you know, and Derek, please
and that's the same thought.
Man, even if you make it out, they gonna really beat us. Matter of fact, they gonna beat us more if you they gonna probably beat us worse if you escape.
And then you go run into mass.
I'd rather you get caught. For real. I'd rather you get caught because if you escape, they gonna be mad and take it out on us.
Right.
Heard you get caught, so they can take it out on you. Hey,
I'm not even trying to make funny, but how a slave back in the day trying to run and escape, and one of the other slaves clip him or something.
Here you go, master.
Hey, boss, he ain't working. Not to make too much fun of that because that's something serious.
I don't think it's a bad idea to make a little fun out of it.
They gotta joke about stuff just to keep from crying.
Yeah. Oh, well, you just gotta find a way to turn negative into positive.
Man, all of the greatest comedians got so much hurt and trauma in their life, and they just make it comedy. You know, so seriously, but envy turns into hate is strong, and I think it's really something deep back in slavery. Derek, if you can remember your point, I kind of cut you off. Pardon me.
Nah, you good. I wasn't with a bitch. I was just piggyback riding just off of whatever we were talking about at the time.
Okay, but yeah, it's we still got a lot of work to do. We still hate on each other. You know, once again, we still envy each other, man. And not to say it's everybody, but it's people every so often. You know, I don't even know what to give a percentage. Maybe 1 out of every 10 people you got around. Maybe 2 out of every 10 people around. You know know what I mean?
I mean, you might not be far off though, and I know it's just you know.
And I ain't even talking about like close like this. I mean like friends of friends or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's some people, you know. Hopefully you see it. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you know.
People ain't living that truth.
Pay attention to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta watch. That's why
actions,
you know
certain actions, you know.
certain actions. You know, the laws of human nature says that. Sometimes if you want to see if people really envy you or you know got showing false love to you, just you know go around them and just say an accomplishment out loud. Like, man, I just got this new car and just watch their initial reaction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like seriously, it's crazy. It's sad.
That's not a
You know
bad
what I'm
test.
saying? Like, I was actually just talking about that the other day, the hate and the Selena story. You know, the Mexican.
That's another story.
Yeah.
It was her manager, right?
Yeah, her.
That was crazy.
Her fan manager that handled the fan mail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was the manager of her.
Yeah, and you know
Some
what
of
I'm
that
saying?
and she shot her.
Yeah,
Just
she
envy.
loved her so much.
And
She
yeah.
shot her and envy. It was envy and love. It was
We
weird.
loved her so much.
Like,
But it's like
it was
love, like obsession.
obsession
and
and envy, and you mix that together, you know.
You just really gotta watch
and that's
people,
what you
man.
cook up.
You really gotta watch people because people don't. And then sometimes, once again, people will be upset at you over something that they can't change. Because you know, Selena was beautiful, God rest her soul. And when they shot her, you know, she was a little older, I believe. You know, may have been a little bit overweight, and sometimes, you know, like everybody, we all look differently. You know, you gotta see the beauty in yourself. But that man, it's so sad. It's so you really gotta watch people around you, man. You gotta watch people, and you know you can tell if people show you genuine love or not, or if they, or if they just around because of what they can gain from you.
Right.
And sometimes you can honestly feel the energy.
Yeah, you can though.
You can sense when the energy is bad.
Yeah, man. That's why I
You
say
gotta pay
certain
attention to
people.
them signs. Don't overlook them signs.
That's why I say, and then it's crazy because I try to keep people around me that can get along. Pretty much every close friend that I got can get along with every last one of my other friends. Pretty much. If they can't, I don't really bring them around that much. You know what I mean? Except I don't know, just except for you and Thomas, y'all got like a love hate. It's like y'all just need to box and get over. Y'all just always joke and mess with each other.
Always mess with each other.
It's funny.
That's my guy.
And then it's not like a common matter. It'd be aggressive. So when I first seen y'all interact the first time we all went out together, I was like, are they arguing or something? Like I was going at Germany, they get into it. You know, I was younger, like.
That's how we be playing around with.
Like when you had just got out and we was in there, and Thomas said something in the nature of like, "Hey, bro, you ain't got no money or nothing." You was like, "No, I just got out." Like, man, that was so funny.
Like,
that was my guy. I mess with Thomas.
Nah, it's all love, man. It's just y'all. It's just y'all.
It's just our thing, man.
Yeah. I fully understand now. I fully understand.
Nah, yeah. Typically, I keep people around me that can get along with every last one of, you know, my friends, and you know, I try to keep it.
Yeah, he thought that shit was funny too.
What?
You ain't got no money?
He was like, bro, I just got out. Like, he was like, oh, my bad. Like, I didn't think about that. Like,
I totally forgot.
But it's important. It's important to try to be a good judge of character. And it's not only how people treat you, watch how they treat other people.
Right.
That's what the key is. Because people will treat you great as long as you're benefiting them.
Oh, yeah.
Or as long as, you know, they got something that they could, you know, or you got something that they could potentially gain from.
Mm-hmm.
Watch how they treat other people in all scenarios. In relationships, if you get with somebody, they can be great to you, but if they are horrible to the next person, you might need to think about the type of person you're with, because they're not going to always be happy with you.
Exactly. I was going to say, eventually it's going to come, you know, it's going to migrate to your area eventually.
And, you know, sometimes you're like, man, I didn't know she was like that. Like, she was showing you the whole time. Or he was showing you the whole time. You know, It's crazy. Speaking of relationships, though, and please, y'all interrupt me if y'all have something that y'all want to talk about. I was talking to this one female, and she was talking about some of the things that us guys do. So apparently, women hate, unless you're like in a relationship with them, they hate when you like text them and say "Good morning, beautiful" or "Grand rising, queen," because they think it's so generic. Interesting, huh?
Yeah, very.
Having a little technical issue.
Yeah, I think the static stopped up. Now I'm trying to hold the mic up. Someone else said that. Yeah, man, it's crazy. What do y'all think about that, man? Because there's so many. Because my thing is with men and women, we are, my opinion, we are. You know what? I feel like we're yin and yang. We're meant to be together.
Right.
Now, granted, that's not taking away of the LGBTQ community. I just feel like we're made to be together. I mean, I just say it has to go that way.
Right. I mean, we're made to be together. Of course, your free will can take you down the road. But honestly, I mean,
so like
we were made to be together.
I mean, like men and women are very different.
Can't live with them. Can't live without them.
It's crazy. You know? And so I told this young lady. I told this young lady.
I'm saying we got a little problem, man, going on.
No, I think I'm holding it right though. It's good.
Yeah,
but
I
don't hear it. No, I don't hear it.
Yeah, it stopped. But
yeah, I'm just holding it carefully. But I was telling her it's not about. It's like she sent me a post actually saying I think there are like 2 million more men, not 2 million more women on this earth than there are men, or something like that. And so should men be treated like the prize or whatever? But it's really, this is what I told her. It's really not about who's the prize. It's about both of us, men and women, especially in our community, treating each other like the prize and not just acting like the prize.
Right.
You can walk around with confidence and act like the prize, but let's treat each other like you're a black woman. You are a prize. You are the prize. But also, I'm a black man, and I'm the prize as well. Let's treat each other as such. You know what I mean? Let's stop trying to be divisive, man.
Right.
And it happens so much in our community. Period. And that's why we are so far behind, because we're too busy arguing with each other over who's right and who's wrong, instead of coming together and building with each other.
Preach, my brother. Preach.
Period. Like women, let's hold women accountable. Men, let's hold men accountable. Period.
All right, y'all got that.
No, elaborate on it.
Yeah.
Nah, y'all got that. That's what I'm saying. Y'all got that.
You ain't doing it.
What? The conversation?
No, I ain't talking about, or just like how do you feel about it?
I mean, no, I agree. Like I agree. I'm just saying, y'all got that. Like
I would agree too. You know,
you know what I'm saying.
Giving them a morning greeting is Jeanette. I mean, you know, what'd you say? She said it was.
You say what?
I was still messing up.
I'm just making sure. What'd you say?
What was the post that she sent you, or what was it that she said about saying Grand Rising or?
Oh yeah, the Grand Rising Queen. She said that's the worst. With the Good Morning Beautiful, you know, all that generic stuff. And it's like, I feel you. I told her I feel you, because it's really just generic, and it's like you don't even know me like that. And
I mean, if you come out the blue,
or it's like every morning, like Good Morning Beautiful.
Yeah,
it ain't no more. It ain't too much more dialogue.
I mean, if that's how they start the conversation off every morning, and that's a routine.
But it's not more.
And I say that because that's me. That's what I do, and I truly mean it every time I send the message. Yeah. Grand Rise. I don't say Grand Rise.
Nobody say that.
You look like Eric Kim on or something.
But good morning, sweetie, or whatever I may say. But that's the conversation starter. Because, when I say that, basically, is or hoping that you had a great or rising or awakening or however you want to look at it.
Now, you said to your lady, she said it's cool, but but if it's like a generic, like when you're dating someone or whatever, that's when it's a problem.
But to me, that's you know, it's called being respectful in a way.
Yeah, that
You know what I'm
too.
saying?
You know,
But and that's what I told her.
What you want me to say?
it's courteous. You know,
She said it just seems fake.
Wake your monkey ass up. What you want me to say?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you want me to be too honest?
And then, but then I don't like to assume. I mean, it could be fake, it could be not, but we don't know if it's fake. You know.
Yeah.
And honestly,
They want you to say what's up.
yeah, like what do you want me to say? You know.
That's a good point.
And then also, are we men and we don't understand it? You know what
I
I'm
think,
saying?
I don't know, and sometimes things that seem done to us, I think it's just getting their perspective. And sometimes we may not understand that perspective.
Yeah, we may not.
But and that's why I think it's and that's why conversations like these, and that's just something simple, need to be had. And you know, it's
To me, it's not even that big.
no, not that. Now we talked about a few things though. Just like I told her, what did I tell her? Because she was just talking about the whole men and women and how society has like made it okay for a man to sleep with like a bunch of women. But if women sleep around with a lot of people, they're considered, you know, a hoe.
But ain't that what how it's been on the low?
But that's what she's saying. But that's what she's saying. It's a societal thing.
What?
Like, bro, I swear.
Is it?
Like, don't other, religions have multiple wives?
Right, and then to say that it's a societal thing,
I mean, but
you have an idea and know how it started. You know,
Yeah.
we don't know.
Yeah, and I feel, and it was just interesting. And they say that a lot.
Right.
You know what I mean? But this is what I was explaining to her because, and this is someone like I had met on an app or whatever, and so she was waiting for me to like ask for her number because she believes like the man should lead. And all that.
See now.
So I'm just like, and then she believes like the man have a protect and provider. So I'm like, what I asked is that's a societal thing.
Mm-hmm.
So. And I told her, like, a lot of times, I say what you're doing is picking and choosing what social norm you think is okay. Because, we want to keep it to that standard of the man should lead, which I believe so. The man should always make the first move, or the man needs to be straightforward. That's like a social, like, norm. How it's a tradition. If that's the case, women are supposed to be delicate. They're supposed to be, modest.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And all that. So they're supposed to be protective of their bodies. So I don't know.
So you'll get that if you know what I'm saying, if you do your part, then I'll give you that.
But it's like, I don't know. And it's just good conversation. Good conversations like this between men and women are very important to have so that we can get this.
But yeah, we definitely I definitely 110% agree that we should definitely have multiple women.
Because it's all about coming together. It's calling,
multiple women and multiple men.
Multiple, and I mean, it's crazy.
I agree. I don't go by rules of what has been created in the last 100 years or whatever. I like the I like the way back rules.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
It could be in ways, it could be cycles. You don't know what we might convert back to after we're gone. So
I don't know. It's I don't know.
It's a lot of things I disagree.
And then honestly, can anyone truly know? Nobody knows. Anyone on this earth can truly know why and how, not even how and why, but the way we were supposed to operate after being created as in a human race.
Nobody knows.
No one truly knows.
The
thing that makes the most sense is we were meant to be together, men and women, or meant to intertwine at some point to create. We do know that. Even if we didn't know that, once you do it, you will know because the baby will come. You know what I'm saying? So even after that, that's the only thing we for sure about, we're 100% sure about.
Yeah.
So anything after that is based off your preference.
Traditionally it's off the Bible or the Quran or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, but then,
so I don't know, even that,
it's questionable in itself.
So I just,
it's crazy, man.
I think we all just need to operate under the understanding that we are constantly learning and
Exactly.
you know, the only thing that we honestly know is that we know nothing at all.
Right, we're constantly changing, evolving.
But let's not understand that, you know, be honest if you want to pick and choose which traditions you want to uphold. You know what I mean? So if you believe women can be just like men, you know, in the sexual aspect, in which I don't, you know, I try not to move like, you know, most people anyway, as far as in that aspect. But if you want to uphold traditions in terms of men should be the leader, men should, you know, approach the woman, you know, and some women believe men should be the, you know, the breadwinner and everything. But then you don't want to uphold the tradition of like women should be modest and be mindful of who protecting their bodies and being mindful of who they allow, you know, treating their body like a treasure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean?
And honestly, man, you just gotta do what's best for you. If you're in a relationship, you gotta do what's best for the relationship.
But understand, and that's cool, but understand, so, and what did I say? I brought up something in the nature of, who was it? On the Best Man and the Best Man Holiday. How Regina Hall, who I actually really like as a person, and she is beautiful, a beautiful black woman.
Mm-hmm.
But I was saying, honestly, you know, I know myself, I could not be and marry a former stripper. That's just me. You know, respect my preference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But don't just come and like, okay, so why is that a problem? And then I gotta explain, and now you're saying this and this, and all that is just like, you know what I mean?
And I do understand that, and I don't get mad off of people's preference, because if you have a preference and you're able to fulfill it, and that's glory to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then, you know, if you don't have a preference, that's okay too.
Or if your preference is a little lighter, a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Because you know, and I move a certain way, so I have like a preference. Not to say it's the end all be all. You know, I would prefer nothing against strippers at all. I'm just saying, personally, I don't, and y'all can say I'm not strong enough or I'm weak or whatever.
I wouldn't dare say
no,
that.
I'm not y'all.
Say, you know,
and if y'all do, you know,
they're pretty entertaining.
But
I appreciate it.
I would just say, you know, that's just my preference. Don't, you know, you can ask me why I get the best explanation.
And I agree with that. You know, a preference of mine is I don't go for the baddies.
The what now?
The baddies, the teens. If you appeal to all of us in this room that you're a 10, I will never try to go for you.
Well, us three in this room.
No, I'm just talking about in general.
Like walk in the room.
If you walk in the room, you know, it's a group of us guys, you know, in school or we somewhere, and everybody thinks she's a 10. It's not.
And some dudes like only want to.
She could be the coolest chick in the world, and I would miss that because it's just a purpose of mine.
Some dudes just want a baddie.
Mm-hmm. So and I was like that growing up, you know. I was chunky, you know, wasn't good looking, so I didn't get the girl. So I had to lower my standards to get a girl. But then I learned my success rate in getting a girl was higher than those who got baddies.
Yeah.
They baddies came one in a lifetime almost.
Once in a blue moon.
Once in a blue moon.
You got it. You better hold on to it.
And my girls that was average, they came a dime a dozen. You know what I'm saying?
So no, and you know, and it's really about and for me, it's about I want a woman who is, I would prefer, you know, my woman just has to be beautiful to me. You know how like you see a woman and she just somehow like her, just how she's made up, how she looks, plus her personality. Of course, it's just like she's dope. You know what I mean? So my woman just gotta be beautiful and dope to me.
Yeah. As a whole.
As a whole, and just like when you see it, you like, that's me right there. Definitely. But you know,
but you think otherwise, just
I didn't know we were advertising a dating app right now. You know what I'm saying?
He ain't said a dating app at all.
You know,
but if you're lonely and you're looking for, you know, someone that you may match with, check out this app called. No, I'm joking. I will say, man, one of the things, and let me know if y'all got something y'all want to talk about. I will say it was interesting. Last night was interesting. going out for your birthday.
Oh yeah,
And, we had a good time. One of the things I want to talk about is your brother, though. Your brother.
My brother is silly, man.
Hilarious, man. And for those of y'all who know Derek, for those of y'all who don't know Derek, he has an older brother, just about a year and some change older than us.
Yeah.
And he's hilarious. And he's hilarious because he's an extremely hood and tough dude, but he also has high morals. So he's also like the overprotective, and if something isn't right, he's almost like the Dark Knight in that sense. He will enforce like his will to correct something that's wrong or whatever. It was,
and then he can take a Thanos approach sometimes, like can have a great point that you're trying to prove, but your method of going by it is
now I see what I have to do. I must knock out every dude in this club until, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so we can have a good and safe time.
Right.
You like, everybody's gonna be asleep. Like, they won't remember.
I'm gonna air it out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna air it out.
We're gonna get home safe.
like, for real. And so, last night, of course, when
y'all put money on my books. You know what I mean?
Last night when we went out, of course, your lovely lady was out with us this time, and you didn't notice it. And Justin and I over there, and we was crying.
Yeah, it was too funny.
Yeah.
We was crying. And
But before you start, though, I'm gonna tell you what's funny about that. Before you tell your story, when he went to go tell me about the story, I was like, "Oh yeah, German." Justin told me. He was like, "How did they know?"
Man, we seen it, man. Because naturally, understand this. Naturally, we your boys, we your brothers. That's your lady. So we keeping an eye out too.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm just like,
we've
man,
been going out with each other for years.
Yeah, so we know how it go, and we looking at dude. And your lady just dancing. How ladies do? They not really paying attention to who behind
He
them.
getting his zone.
Everything. So, and I see dude getting close.
One step. Yeah.
And I'm just like, please don't do it. So I'm kind of keeping my eye on him too.
One step.
This is the messed up thing. It happened so quick. I didn't even get to see dude try to dance with him. By the time I looked over, I just seen your brother. All you seen was like, nah, it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. I'm letting you know or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is the thing that was funny. He went hard on dude and stood next to him like, yeah, you better not do. You know how like normally if you go hard on somebody, you be wondering if they gonna sneak you or something.
Right.
Like he went hard on dude and just stood there like, yeah. And what'd you say, Justin? Yeah. Give me your cigarette too. Dude, like offered him a cigarette after that.
So when I came and y'all were talking, I looked up. I said, "Shoot, they over there talking now."
Bro, but it happened so fast.
I seen the whole thing. Well, I seen dude try to approach your lady, and I seen block real quick, like
Yeah, and it's funny because over the music,
like no,
you see the head gesture, so you know exactly what
I know what happened. Man, we was over there crying.
Hey man, he just big brother, man, protective, and that's why I was joking with y'all. Like he came out, of course, my birthday. He don't get out much. He don't do large crowds.
Yeah.
When we go out of town, he like to go to the cabin, just us.
Yeah.
He don't want to do no.
He don't trust the world.
Yeah, like seriously though, don't. And we grew up in the same house, and I'm like, by him being older than me, I don't know if he. Protecting me from stuff that he saw that I didn't see, but yeah.
And then it's like
he don't trust the world at all.
And I'm rather overprotective of my friends and stuff, but he's even more than me. So you had walked off, I think with the niche or whatever for a second, just before the other homies came in. And he like, hey, where bro go? I'm like, man, let me go find him. Before he have to.
But look, because y'all comfortable, because this is Derek, y'all saying, we comfortable, we in our spot.
We know ain't nothing and we know if some rumbling happen, we can get there and see quick enough to make sure. You know what I mean? It was.
Yeah. But him, man, just protect him.
It was hilarious, man.
But then, it's funny though, with all that going on, he said he still had a good time though.
No, yeah, but it wasn't no bad thing. It wasn't no bad thing. He just got to make sure stuff is right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, man, after that, man, it's, LGBTQ community, we are y'all allies. Y'all don't have to be all on edge with us. us, right?
Jesus.
So what happened last night, for those if you want to picture this scenario, we're over there, Derek Lady is there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're there minding our business, just having a good time or whatever. And the other guy that was with us, Mark, a lady had asked for his lighter. So with that, it was some ladies, like about 3 of them were, you know, nice, feminine women. And then you had about 3 other ones that was a little bit more, I don't know even what to call it on the
And I
tomboy
hate to guess
side.
what they
Forgive me
preference
with
is.
your, because I don't think of your, you know, I don't want to disrespect you all. So we over there.
I don't know.
So Justin was talking to the girl then, and she was a nice looking woman or whatever. And he was like, "Yeah, it's my homie birthday," you know, talking about Derek, and she was like, "Oh, it's your birthday? Okay." And what was she saying? She was like, I know she asked for a dance, but what was the nature? Do you remember like the nature of what she said? It's your birthday, right? You want to dance?
Oh no! That's like, it's your birthday. You want a birthday? Then it was straight like straightforward, just like that. Yeah, and I'm like, nah, I'm
And
good.
you like, nah, no,
No.
And Denisha wasn't too far away. She went to the. Nah, I'm good. Like he didn't even want to look at it. He like looking straight, like, nah, I'm good.
Like,
I'm good. My ladies here.
I don't even have to think twice about it.
Yeah. So,
I was watching Derek's face. I was like, damn.
but the thing is, like
She's trying to see if I'm a twin or anything. Like, nah,
like
I'm good.
like I'm good.
You don't have a stereo contact?
Like then we looking at you like it didn't start. Like, all right, so do we want us to keep an eye out for his ladies?
Like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm
But then
saying?
she talking to us, one of her lady friends coming like get in between us and be all rude, and it's like, sweetie.
As if we was trying to hide.
She was talking to
Right,
us.
she approached us.
Bro, I was just like, man, and then one of the girls, matter of fact, that same girl started dancing with a dude, and I guess the girl,
The dude that was in the corner.
I guess the girl that she was with, like, yanked her, like, nah, what you doing? All you see, she was kind of, her movements was kind of like your brother's, like, no.
Protecting her.
Yeah, I'm like,
but then what was funnier is, after all that, the more aggressive ones over there was eyeing the hell out of her.
Yeah, they were looking
You know
at
what I'm
us.
saying? And this is where stuff gets, you know, it gets little, I'm gonna use the term delicate.
Yeah.
They're still women.
Right.
What do they expect us to do? You know what I'm saying? In the situation, you know, because they was looking at us almost if we was to want to go to the other side, they probably wouldn't try to let us get out.
Man,
they was right in front of the door. And I'm like, in situations like that, it's men. What do you expect us to do?
I was like, man, we're gonna mess around and have to fight them for
Like,
real.
and we would be wrong for fighting them.
But this is the messed up thing, though. We've been going out for how long?
Man.
For like 10 plus years. Like almost about 12, 13 years now. We ain't never really got to fight. How would our first fight be with some girls, man?
Though, man. Like, I mean, you know, like we was in that little riot. But we haven't got in a fight,
like
you know, directly. We were just fighting to get about that cuz. That's a whole other story for a whole other podcast right there.
So yeah, man. So it's like, man, they was really looking at it. I'm like, man, if they come over, we gonna have to fight them.
Man.
For real, man. Like, they some big girls, man. Like, I don't hit women, but I will fight for some ladies. Like, I'm shooting.
And look, I'm
out on the roof.
And we what? 4 or 5 shots in, 2 or 3 drinks in, free beer. I don't even know how far it was at this point. This is the last night.
It would have down.
Yeah, like I'm like, man, please, like
man, please don't let them come over because they was looking at us.
So look, you know, I look and I'm like, okay, let me dance, you know, about 30 seconds.
Let them know we coming,
looking around.
Like,
and they still like eyes booked. And I'm like, man, I hope they ain't think we trying to get on their little chicks. Or whatever, and I look again, and they still looking. They whispering. I'm like, and the whisper bothers me the most because it's usually the initiation before the movement.
Yeah, you know
what I'm saying. So
they'll come over there and get the probably jumping on us. And stuff. Like, hey, so we can try to nudge them. Fire! They gotta get one of them. And how they hit me? They lay me out. Like, they done hit me. All I look up, I'm blurred. I look up, all I see is like, your brother just throwing hands.
Hey, Jared, you get first.
But that's how it be though. I ain't have nothing to do with it.
Hey, you the only one didn't talk.
Yeah, I'm over there
Get
chilling
first.
with my mask on.
Hey, man, that would have been.
I
After
didn't
the
hit
fact, that
first.
would have been hilarious.
Like, can't see me off
That
go
would've
fire.
been
What was
hilarious.
that? I'm on the ground. All I see is your brother just and I'm looking up to him like he's
Hey,
saving, like really saving.
Man, that's funny.
That's crazy.
Hey, man, but yeah, man. So, like, man, like, but what I'm sorry, I'm just so tongue tied because moments like that trip me out because they're still women. You know what I'm saying? So of course we wouldn't have got no cool points for it. We probably would have went to jail for it.
Yeah, all that.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
if we would have lost,
I wasn't gonna lose.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, anything we could have slipped. We in the club, like you know. I
they
don't
get
get
the best of
at
us.
all.
But look how they get the best of us just until security comes. Catch us off guard, get some links. Next thing you know, by the time we recover, security don't
Man, and you know how over aggressive security be.
Yeah.
So you know, like.
Man, we the ones on the ground getting stomped. They picking
Right.
us
I
up.
think we played it the best way that you could play it. Just
Yeah.
don't engage.
Yeah.
You know, of course, watch and observe because I ain't finna get snuck by anybody. I ain't gonna even say nothing specific.
But
Just by
I ain't gonna lie,
anybody.
look, I ain't gonna lie though. I was we was looking out the side of our eye.
Of
But I
course.
wasn't trying to stare to
Yeah.
kind of initiate more smoke.
I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention.
I was like
man.
looking out the corner of my eye, 'cause if I look directly at them, they're gonna think we want smoke.
Yeah,
for real.
look, like nah.
Like what? Like nah, y'all got it.
You know me, I would have. Yeah, I'm
Nah.
glad. See, I didn't know all that was going on. I
In
would've-
situations like, yeah, 'cause I told you I was trying to get your attention. Like, man, they stand us down.
I didn't know what you talking about.
Nah.
I was like,
Nah, I kept
Justin
my
was
eye
overlooking.
Yeah.
Justin was Mr. Unbothered in this situation. But man,
Justin, a lot of times, bro, you just be Mr. Unaware of what's
Yeah.
going on. Like,
he said Mr. Underwear.
unaware sometimes, man. You be in your zone.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, I didn't even know.
You like, bro, they feel like, hey, they feel. You be like, what? Next thing you know, they swinging.
Yeah.
And he's stuck in the middle though.
Trying to fight.
Man.
You know, not to mention Mark. You know,
Yeah,
Mark would be crazy, yelling
Yeah.
and all of that. You know what I mean?
Man. But yeah, man.
Overall,
I had a good time though,
Yeah,
man.
great.
I appreciate
It was
everybody that came out. And the little new spot we went to
Counters.
was even nice. Yeah,
Shout out to
Counters.
Calendar. They showed us a good time. It was
They
one
did.
guy, one of the managers in there actually graduated with me. He recognized me. Cool dude.
Okay.
He was the guy with the long hair, about our height.
With the ponytail?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he was he just came up to me and was like, "Man, you look familiar. You go to McGavin?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know." And he was like, "Yeah, I went there." It was just cool all around.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, and they all showed us love.
They did.
Cool
man.
little spot. Wouldn't mind going there again.
Shout out to my boy Tevin and Mark, man, from Jackson. They came to kick.
Yeah.
So his name was Mark. So we had 2 Marks out with us.
Yeah, we had 2 Marks out with
That's
us. We had
interesting.
2 Marks. Yeah.
That one little dude was wild too.
Yeah, Tevin. Hey, man, Tevin. That's my guy, man.
And with them, they was with they girls. So I'm trying to be
Yeah.
intentional on like not looking at they girls because I ain't trying to disrespect dudes that are out with us. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they was cool, man. My people.
nah, that was funny. And your lady was hilarious, man.
She looked like she enjoyed herself.
Yeah.
She did, man. And she been wanting to get downtown for a while.
Yeah.
Because, she was in the area with us. She used to come to Grams, when we was in Grams and Fuel and all that. So we probably came across her many times. 'Cause they used to come down here a lot. So
You danced with her back then.
Look,
You know, like
you
you
didn't
gonna be
know.
my future lady.
look, we could have skipped a lot of that BS and went straight to
BS, like,
it.
we could have skipped a lot of BS, man.
So she been wanting to get downtown anyway. So yeah, she had a great time. Then she seen, her co-workers, her cousin there unexpectedly. So
Nah, it's like then it's always love because us we don't really try to have beef with people. So if one of us see people we know, it's like, oh, okay, they cool then. You know what I mean? And look, hopefully if we get into something, they gonna help. Like, hopefully we get into a fight, they gonna jump in.
Yeah.
You know, now luckily we try not to get into any altercation. But last night, we was almost, man, I thought they was gonna try.
Man, right, man.
As soon as I
The
got up here, I got
LGBTQ
into it.
community.
I didn't get into it, but this white dude was playing around.
Now they was like one dude came into my brother because he had on the Buccaneers.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie to you.
That's
It
the
was a
same
couple
thing,
people.
yeah.
It was
I
like
was
2
like,
people that was
weird.
your brother. And I'm like, man, please don't. Like, please don't let them
So
out.
look, I'm in the middle like, yeah, we good.
Yeah, I'm like,
He was like, I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you. He started rolling up his sleeves. I'm looking around like, where's your people at? Like, you cannot be by yourself. Right? But you know,
See,
he was
I ain't
like,
know that either.
yeah, because you was ordering the shots.
Oh, yeah.
Your back was turned.
Yeah.
In Germany, it was you, Jeremy, and Mark ordering the shots. So it was only me and
No, but I
me
seen
and
it.
Brett was
I
right
seen
there.
it.
Okay.
I didn't know what was being said, but I'm like, please don't let me.
Oh, you wasn't Mr. Unaware.
No, I'm always aware. I'm always aware.
Man, so I was like, are you good? He was like, yeah, I'm good, but I'm not scared of him. You think we scared of him? And so he was a Titans fan.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't know, we're not even playing Tampa Bay, so
Yeah.
he said, because he was like, you like Tom Brady? I was like, nah, he don't follow Tom Brady, he's a Tampa Bay fan. I'm still trying to keep it cool.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm not scared of him. I'm not scared of him. And he's like getting like vicious with it. And he's a tall, slim guy, so I'm like, man, like I could just thump you and he drunk, so you know, you off balance, like, man.
Not to mention the floorboards was jacked up.
Oh yeah, terrible.
No, we was downstairs first.
Yeah. So eventually he was like, man, it's all good, ain't it, man? I just want to let you know we're not scared of you no more. So I'm like, man, tighten up, you tighten. He's like, yeah. He gave me depth, like, yeah. I'm like, oh man, the hell out of here, man.
You're right.
My God, but that was
That was friendly. Let's just say that.
Like, please
that was
don't.
friendly.
Please
Where I
don't. And
was
there was
friendly.
one dude, that girl that was trying to give you a birthday dance. It was one dude that a weird dude that kept coming around and tried to dance with her or something. It was weird. And she pushed him over. She looked at me like, you know him? I'm like, no. He just over here by us.
Right.
You know, it's all fun. You know, it was all fun. We had a good time, man.
We did, though, man.
So,
And you know, just another chapter now onto the next chapter.
So, but I guess we can wrap this episode up because we got to talk about the Titans in the next segment.
Yo, yeah.
All minds and hearts are clear. Spare no effort.
Thanks for listening to the Spare No Effort podcast. We out.